Good morning. I'm Ian Corzine, your social media lawyer. Thanks so much for joining us today at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. We're going to be talking about today 7 of my best tips for how you become a YouTube superstar. And a lot of what we're talking about today is not just about YouTube, but it's about all the different social media platforms, including audio platforms like podcasts. And now we're starting to see Facebook Rooms and Clubhouse. A lot of these lessons we talk about today can be taken and used in different contexts so that you can succeed on those platforms and get the value that you want to give your audience. So I'm really excited. Where I got the basis for this topic was my hundreds of clients and creators I work with on a day-to-day basis, not on hundreds, but that I've worked with in the past. And they've given me the ideas. I've learned from them. I've watched their videos. We've done channel reviews. And basically what I've done is kind of cull down the lessons that I've learned from these other creators to come up with the lessons that I'm going to give you today. And I think that if you take these lessons, it will make you definitely a better creator, if not a superstar on whatever chosen platform that you want to have. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I just want to say good morning to Kim. Kim Leeming is there. Good to see you. And also Ramona, a new member for the Ian Corzine membership club. Don't know if you know, but if you join your membership club, you get to do a monthly live stream personally with me where I go over some of the legal questions you have about social media law, about your accounts and those kinds of things. Thank you so much for joining us, Ramona. We also have Exploring Israel. Good to see you this morning too. All right, so for the replay, the people that do not want to get straight to it, I want to talk about these 7 easy tips I call here for becoming a YouTube superstar. And I got to tell you, in the context of life, they are easy. It's just that you have to make a mental commitment to do these 7 steps. And if you do them, I want to tell you that you're virtually locked to becoming successful on the platform. You just got to take these in and do them on a daily basis, if not an hourly basis. So we'll turn to our first tip here. Move it over there. And this is the one that I entitled "Is Interesting in Value." I was recently on a Twitter, conversation with a bunch of creators, and one of the things that they said, larger creators, by the way, that trumps it all, and I totally agree, is interesting topics. And I know that sounds like, oh, yeah, Ian, of course, interesting topics, you need to have those. But bottom line is you have to, because the thing about it is when we say interesting, we don't just mean interesting necessarily to you. We don't mean in your ego state thinking, listen, I got to put content out just so that people can consume it. No, you got to figure out things that are interesting to your audience. And I also want to tell you this doesn't just apply to social media fame and social media accounts. This applies to daily life. If you want people to engage with you, even as you walk out in the street, what you're saying to them has to be interesting to them. Now, what I've come up with is a number of different categories of interesting content that I'm going to say always works on any of the social media platforms, regardless of whether you're choosing to do long form or short form content. I really want to spend some time on the difference between long form and short form content on another live because it's substantial. But if you're going to be interesting on social media, the number one thing that you can do is do something novel. And I equate that to all the viral videos that you see, whether they be animals that are attacking, whether they be Mr. Beast giving away $10,000. These are things that you don't see ever, and if not every day, and they are always going to garner attention. So if you can fit your content, if you're into Harry Potter and you want to get some sort of engagement in some sort of content that you've made, something novel, something they haven't seen before is probably guaranteed to get some views, some likes, those kinds of things for your social media accounts. Second category, always works, is funny. If you can make people laugh, they will be engaged. And it's a time-tested category. There are so many social media accounts out there who maybe they don't have that many subscribers, but their engagement is through the roof. They have 5,000 subscribers, but they're getting in the first 24 to 48 hours, 3,000 views. I mean, my goodness, people want more from these people. And if you consistently deliver on funny, then you will consistently grow. So that's the second category of interesting content. The third one, and I think I'm sure you know it, especially since these last couple of years, is I call infuriating content, anger content, something that triggers someone emotionally in a negative way. That will get those views. So that's where you see a lot of those newsjackers who, look at the different news stories that could make people angry or make people share, and they do discussions about that. That's how they get that engagement. The fourth one, and this is all the review, the tech channels, is new and cool. So if you're into cars, new and cool cars, new parts of the car that are cool, that's always going to get engagement. And then I have down here, let's be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth one, is inspirational content. And I've listed these in order of priority. Inspirational content is phenomenal because of the fact that it really gets people up in the morning and gets them going, gets them inspired to create, to do the job that they're doing. So that's another component of interesting content. And then the final one is what I often do, which is tutorials. Teach people something that they don't know, step by step. Educate them on a certain topic, talk about history, whatever it is. So those are those, I guess there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I never counted them. 6 different categories: novel, funny, anger, new and cool, inspirational, and tutorial content. If you fit your own content, your interest in Spider-Man, whatever it is, your interest in gaming, into those categories, you are virtually guaranteed to create interesting content. And I have the additional part, and give value. Because if you're doing something funny, it's making someone laugh. It's giving someone a release. So that's giving them value. If you're doing a tutorial, if you're talking about the 7 best tips for being a YouTube superstar, I'm trying to give you value. I'm trying to give you some knowledge that I've gained from years working with creators. So that is the first step in your career trying to become a YouTube superstar. Just want to spend a moment to say hi to some people out there. Let's change the screen here. And we have Kristen Nations there. She says hi. Good to see you, Kristen. We got Anthony Goodleys here. You want to be famous like Ian? Is there a course for 1995? I like that one. That's funny. No, I do not have a course. But actually, I have a mini course, and it's $9.95. We got PMT. Hi from Norway. Good to see you. Awesome. And then we got Mr. Begia. It's off topic. OnlyFans is banning hardcore. So this is an example of Mr. Begia. Of talking about newsjacking, of talking about a headline. Yes, I did read that. They're banning sexual content. So that still means that there's going to be nude people on OnlyFans, but that's the headline. We got Byron Chen here. All right, good to see. We have Byron, who submitted a counter notification. For those of you out there who don't know, if you do get a DMCA takedown and there's a strike on your account, for your YouTube account, you can submit a counter notification, which is kind of an appeal, but it's a formal legal process. And if you can get it submitted and accepted, then oftentimes what results is your video gets put back up on YouTube. So very good job, Mr. Chen. Awesome. And we got Simon here. Hi from the UK. Good morning. It's probably in the afternoon for Mr. Barnes. We got Leo Sketches here. He has a question. What should be the disclaimer to make a global giveaway? Well, that's a really good question, Leo. And actually, I have a whole video on giveaways, so check my channel on how to do that. Also, I have some legal templates for you on my website, iancorzine.com. Just go into the legal template section, and you'll be able to find my official giveaway rules and my mini rules, which I suggest you put in your description section or your Instagram post or wherever you're going to do the giveaway. So, and also hit me up more if you have more questions. You can always email me at info@iancorzine.com. Just Dude, he's here. Good to see you, Just Dude. All right. Now we also got, let's see. We got Keto Mexican Recipes. Good to see you. Ian, is there a way I can do comedy music parodies of popular songs? No monetization. I just don't want my channel to get strikes. Of course there is, Keto Mexican Recipes. That is one of the categories of fair use. Just to give everybody context, we're talking about a situation where someone wants to borrow content from another person and doesn't want to get their permission. And so what you can do is you can use this concept called fair use. And one of the categories of fair use is parody. It's one of the most popular. It's one of the most successful in the courts to overturn any copyright infringement action. And you can parody a song on YouTube and be able to get that stay up on the platform and not get a strike. So yes, we could talk in more detail about that. But yes, you can do that. All right, so I'm going to get back to my presentation here. We talked about the first step to becoming a YouTube superstar, and that is creating interesting content that gives the audience value, novel, funny, anger, tutorial, new and cool and inspirational. And then there's one more. Oh no, I got that. And then we're going to move on to the next step today. We're going to talk about plan the conversation. I think I've seen this nowhere in my life as far as, okay, Ian, yeah, I know kind of what's interesting. Yeah, I know about the equipment. I can hook up a live. I can, do a produced video. But what do I do in the actual video? I think there's one example. I think Daryl Eves has a very good course where he talks about the interior of your video, how to keep people engaged. But I will tell you that a lot of times it's simpler than you think. Because we're at such almost an intimate relationship here, you seeing me and me seeing you, we're almost like on a one-on-one. We just talk in a conversation, the same type of conversation that we have if you were sitting right here in my living room. And I've read a lot of books about good conversational ability. And one of the things that they've talked about are 3 different components for a good conversation. And one of those is giving the audience, the person you're speaking to, some context. So right now we're talking about YouTube strategy, we're talking about video strategies. And then the next step is intentional. So we have to give you some intention about what we want you to do. We want you to take this in, we want you to learn, we want something from you. And then finally, the third part of a good conversation is the headline. What is the message in one sentence? And a lot of people who are experts in communication say that you can do this within one minute. Some people say you can actually give those 3 elements within the first 15 seconds. So if you structure your conversation, and maybe we should stop saying videos or podcasts and just say, oh, you're doing a conversation. That is the best, most effective way to be able to get people to be engaged. They don't have time. I know you guys are busy. I'm sure you have a big weekend planned. You don't have time. You want to know what we're talking about right away. I try to structure my videos that way. I'm not trying to hide the ball. I don't want the most important tip to be the last one. I just want to give you what you need so that you can go on and create awesome stuff, awesome videos, awesome podcasts, awesome audio. So plan your conversation. Structure it in a way that you go, okay, I got to give my audience context. We're talking about Star Wars, all right? I want my audience to appreciate how good Mark Hamill acted. And then finally, the headline is, did you know that Mark Hamill went to school for 5 years to become a great actor? Whatever the concept is, just give it to them very quickly in that kind of order. And at the very least, if you can't remember those steps, just talk to the camera like you would your best friend, your mom, some relative. You just pretend like you're trying to explain what you're talking about to them. So that is the step number 2 to becoming a YouTube superstar. Interesting value, absolutely. You can do everything wrong after that. And then the second step is plan the conversation. Make sure that you have kind of a structured conversation together where you deliver on the value you're going to give right up front. And then we're going to talk about the rules. And you know what? I'm a social media lawyer, so I read a lot of rules. I don't know that I always follow them, but I read a lot about them. But this doesn't occur to a lot of creators. It's kind of like they just get on the platform and start creating, and then they have problems. And it's so funny to me. It's like if you're playing a game, if you're playing Monopoly, you don't just jump on the board and start giving out money and start hopping around the board without knowing the rules. So yeah, it's very important that when let's say you say, I'm going to do some TikToks and I really want to blow up on TikTok. Okay. Think about what the content is that's going to be interesting. Think about the conversation you're going to have with the person. But thirdly, read the TikTok terms of service. Know those rules. There's a lot out there to understand. To understand that basically you are licensing your content to that platform. That platform really has a lot of control over your content. So we get mad when a video gets taken down. Well, you give up that right when you sign on the dotted line for the terms of service. You start producing content for the social media platforms. We don't understand the indemnification obligation that we have as creators with social media platforms. If we get sued for copyright infringement, defamation, and YouTube is pulled in, we have to pay for YouTube's costs to defend that lawsuit. That's part of the terms of service. So there's a lot of rules that are actually very significant that if you don't know, you could really get into a lot of trouble. So, a quick way to do this is to go to my channel. I've done a lot of videos on the YouTube rules, on the various social media platform rules, LinkedIn and TikTok and all those. That's a quick shortcut. But I will say, at the end of the day, if you're going to be a superstar creator, you really have to know the rules of the platform. And I also have to say, it's very interesting. The creators I've worked with in my career as a social media lawyer, they really do know those rules. They really do know the rules inside and out. They come to me and cite copyright law and things like that I was like, wow, it's amazing. So yes, the best really do their homework, and you got to too if you want to be a superstar. All right, let me just take some comments real quick here. Oh, we got thumbnails too here. All right, yes. Just Dude, let's put this on here. Yes, Just Dude says thumbnails are super important. Yeah, thumbnails are very important along with the title and the SEO. But I will say this, that it used to be more important for those things than it is today. And that's just because YouTube and the other social media platforms, including TikTok, really read your content. They have AI that's able to understand your words, understand what type of video you are, and then they pitch it to a certain audience. And if they don't get results within 2 hours, your video is downgraded. So a lot of times your friends and family that or people that would appreciate your thumbnail don't even get to see it. So it's important. Don't get me wrong. All those things are important over time. But I think that if you focus on what we're talking about today, which is substance over kind of the marketing portion, I think you're better served. So certainly do clear thumbnails, and that's really easy to do. Brian G. Johnson always talks about that. Having a face in a thumbnail is good. Having contrasting colors. So if you want black text, having a yellow background is going to get people's attention. Red and white. Those are contrasting colors, and so you can definitely do that and get people's attention. But they're not going to watch your video if they're not interested, and they're going to be interested if you do those 6 different topics that we talked about. All right. Oh, we already went to that one. Keto Mexican recipes. All right. We got question from Generic. I love your name of your channel. He says, how important is background music in a voiceover video or any video for that matter? Well, that is a great question. One of my favorite, and we've had debates about it with all my creator friends, because, you listen to a lot of the tech creators. I'm thinking of Peter McKinnon or Nadia Apoya or whatever, and they always have cool background music. But then there's some creators out there who I've talked to says, you know what, these days I'm actually listening to a lot of YouTube videos and I'm putting it on 1.5 times or 2 times. I don't know, 2 times seems fast, but they're listening really quickly because they want to get through a lot of content and they can take it in fast. Well, when you do that, the music sounds crazy. It's way too fast, and it's disturbing if you're trying to listen. So big debate between being super well produced and having background music and not. I have chosen, I think I like the Marquez Brownlee approach, which he does a cool little introduction with a nice audio song or some sort of sounds that really kind of hopefully pulls you into the content, and then he tapers off, and he might bring in some music when there are emotional parts or things that he really wants you to take in, but he uses it sparingly. So I've done the same thing. I think that's the best course because I do hear it, especially if you're doing those 8 to 10 minute videos. There's a lot of people out there who are just listening. They put the subscriptions tab on their phone and all the videos, they put them on play, and then they're doing their stuff on their day. When there's something that they want to see, they look at the actual video, but otherwise they're just listening. I do that quite often. And if you do that, background music can be difficult to take. So that's my answer, Generic. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here. We got Anna R saying, hi, Ian, I emailed you twice, but haven't got a response yet. But the second time was just a few days ago. Well, Anna, I am so sorry for that. Yeah, if you email me at info@iancorzine.com, I do my absolute best to get back to you. I'm so surprised, Anna, I haven't seen that, or my team hasn't seen that. I will get on that because I want to make sure that I respond to you guys. You guys take your time out to listen to me, so I'm happy to listen to you. We got good morning, Ian, from Sparky107107. All right, I wonder what that means. Is that his? No, it can't be birth date. I don't know what that is. Kevin Hawthorne's here. Good to see you, Kevin. Awesome. Good morning. Oh yeah, that was a good little just dude comment here. It says here, don't line your thumbnails. People hate it. That is an absolute no-no. Actually, it's in the community guidelines for YouTube. If YouTube, and believe it or not, the AI can even tell this, if YouTube determines that you're not delivering on the promise of your title, then you will be taken down. And this is one of those discrete areas where YouTube will take you down without even taking you through the warning process, where there's a warning and then 3 strikes. They'll just take you down. So yeah, YouTube takes that very, very seriously. If you, I mean, I don't even know what it would be like. Maybe you have a movie star in your thumbnail, and then you start talking about some video game or some news event that doesn't relate to the movie star. But yeah, don't do that. Again, when people do that, they're just trying to go for views. And if they're just trying to go for views, don't waste their time, because what we're here for is value, whether it be a laugh, whether it be taking a moment to appreciate a complex topic, whether it be learning something. So don't waste our time. With that being said, I do need to go to my fourth. There we go. My fourth step to becoming a YouTube superstar, and that is know the government rules. I'm not going to belabor this one too much, but listen. Before you go in and you're going to become a YouTube superstar, you're going to do super well on Instagram Reels. Before you go there, understand government rules, right? What are those rules? If you're going to do sponsored videos, you got to comply generally with FTC-like guidelines, which is disclosure, which is disclaimers, which is letting your audience know that you've been paid to do this video. You got this product for free. You have to know these rules. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble and you're going to face fines. And I don't want you to face fines or lawsuits. Got to know copyright rules. We talked a little bit about it with Keto Mexican Recipes, but you got to understand copyright, the essentials of copyright, so you don't get in trouble. And I would encourage you, as time goes on, doing less review type content that requires the use of other people's content without the permission, because YouTube's cracking down, TikTok is cracking down, Twitch is cracking down. They're just pulling down videos if you don't have permission and you bring in copyrighted content. So understanding trademark law, understanding the right of publicity. In other words, stealing someone's image, maybe I don't even say stealing, borrowing someone's image for commercial purposes and not paying them and not getting permission. You got to understand these laws, because if you don't, you could be sued. And it's serious. I've been involved in a number of different lawsuits, and whether it be defending or prosecuting, so to speak, representing the plaintiff. And it's serious business. It could impact your life. You got to know these rules, not only from the platform you're on, but also the government where you're from. You understand those rules. If you want to know more, again, just go to my channel. I've done a number of videos on all the different kind of rules that you need to understand to be a successful superstar creator. Again, it's Ian Corzine channel. Check that out. We also got another comment here from Sparky. It says, doing live stream interviews is best done like that. Talk to the people involved and forget the camera's there. Mind you, stay in the frame. Yeah, that's true. I like that. Yes, exactly. Conversational. But you know what? My point is, and I don't know if everyone shares it, but I think that even produced video should be a conversation between me and you. Even the nomenclature, even the words you use, saying, hey, you don't say, hey guys, you say, hey. I'm thinking of Danny Gonzalez, who's a great YouTuber, funny YouTuber, who says, he starts his video saying, hi, Greg. He just views you as the audience as Greg. And so he speaks to Greg and makes jokes, and it's really funny throughout the entire video. So yeah, the conversation is important. And I think what's nice about the conversational style is that it attaches to any of your content. So you're doing an interview on a podcast, conversational. So you're doing a tutorial video, conversational. You're doing a video about some sort of anger, infuriating topic, conversational. I don't think you can go wrong. Now there's other styles, right? And you'll see tons of successful YouTubers, hey guys, talking like they're doing a presentation in front of 10,000 people. It works sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't. It makes you come off like maybe you're I don't know, full of yourself or whatever. And I got to tell you, speaking conversationally to one person, and that one person being the camera, you can never go wrong. So why not just stick to one concept that you can never go wrong, and then learn how to do that concept as well as possible. And that's why I talked about those 3 steps of context, intent, and headline. If you understand how to have a successful conversation, you will do well. You will be a superstar on whatever platform that you want to spend time on. So I like that one. All right. Let's see. All right, we got Videoteque. Hi, it's Rob from UK. Thanks for your help in checking out the channel. No copyright strikes and now making money. Great guy. Listen to the man. Thanks so much. That's so awesome. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're making money, have no copyright strikes. That's huge. Just got to make sure that you continue on that path. In other words, try not to use content without people's permission. If you do, execute my steps of fair use, which you'll see in the videos on the channel, and I think you'll be fine. If you get into trouble, though, you can always go to iancorzine.com. You can look at some of my content, which is, I want to say hundreds of blogs, over 100, maybe 100 and something videos. And then additionally, you can schedule time with me for an online consult by going to the upper right-hand corner, getting on my calendar, and you can speak to me specifically and directly about your particular issue. So happy to help there. All right. Let's see, we got here more questions. We got Likey Ueda. Question, is it a copyright infringement to use copyrighted materials, logos, illustrations on YouTube thumbnail? I think I know what you were saying. You're saying, listen, can you be accused of copyright infringement, potentially be taken down, a violation of community guidelines or YouTube's copyright rules? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. I've seen there's at least 2 creators I've worked with in the past couple of years who tried to take advantage of the content of another channel. So what happened is there's a big famous guy, YouTuber, and they made a lot of response videos. They made a lot of videos that imagined that this big creator was in the room with them. So a lot of their thumbnails had their own picture with the larger creator's picture on the thumbnail. Matter of fact, like 90% of them. So when the big creator got wind of that, he filed a copyright DMCA takedown notice and was able to get like over 100 videos for this particular creator taken down immediately. There wasn't like a DMCA process. It was what they call the strict violation of the copyright rules of YouTube. So yes, the answer is yes. And so it's an ambiguous subject. On one hand, lawyers representing the copyright holder to a famous image. Let's say you had Katy Perry on your thumbnail. They could bring lawsuits saying, listen, you used her image on your thumbnail illegally without her permission, and you didn't do anything to it. You didn't transform it. So as a result, you have infringed. There's also the thought that, especially like you see in the news all the time, it's appropriate to be able to take images of celebrities that were taken in public and use them for public concern content. So if you're talking about a story about Katy Perry, one of her songs, or maybe she got sued or something like that, that would be the defense. You'd say, listen, this is public interest type content. This photograph was taken of Katy Perry in a public spot, and as a result, it is legal. So it's a debatable thing. I would just say this: the best advice I have is that there are royalty-free sites where you can get photos of famous people or even animations, illustrations, and you can actually pay a licensing fee. A lot of those sites, you pay a $59 monthly fee, and then you're able to use 10 images or 20 images a month. That's the best approach I've ever seen, because that way you can feel comfortable putting that image in your thumbnail, and then you can always throw the license content in your description, or what I do is I leave a link to a Google document with my license, and then you're never gonna have problems. So yes, the answer to your question is that's a long-winded yes. And yeah, like it says, if you use copyright materials and thumbnails, yes, it can. YouTube AI is amazing. YouTube AI particularly analyzes YouTube thumbnails, and they can tell certain body parts in thumbnails. So when people have done nudes or naked people or sexy images and things like that, YouTube AI knows that and will put an automatic restriction on it, if not take it down if they find later on in the analysis that it violates community guidelines. So yeah, YouTube AI is listening. YouTube AI right now is listening to my words, understanding them in English, and making a decision about whether or not this live stream should continue on. It's that amazing. We have Ezem Chinir. If I delete a video that already have made money, will the money delete also? If I delete a video that's already money. Well, the money you've made would not. In other words, you will continue to get paid. I think you're assuming AdSense. If it's AdSense on YouTube, yeah, you'll get paid until the moment that you took the video down. But of course, once you take the video down, then you will not continue to make money on it. So I don't know if you said delete, right? Yeah, delete. So if you're deleting the video, yeah, once you delete it, no more money. Before that, you make the AdSense that it usually gets. We have Maria Anderson, a millionaire in 7 years. I have got to follow Maria because I would like to be a millionaire in 7 years. I'm making some reaction videos. Is it too bad? Is that too bad? Well, listen, we've talked about this on live streams before. Reaction videos are the most popular, or one of the most popular types of content on YouTube. All right, children's content, video game content, and reaction content. People love to just chill with you, see you react, make some jokes, right? So can I tell you that it's bad? No, it's not bad. Matter of fact, Cody Ko and a lot of the biggest YouTube celebrities do reaction content all day long and have no problems. Is it problematic? I have to say yes, because if you're a 5 million subscriber channel, you get a free pass on a lot of this stuff. If you're below, like you're like us, trying to make an impact, you have more problems, and you have to do a better job of securing fair use for that reaction. Now, good news is that YouTube, and they've said this explicitly in their videos, allows reaction content. They construe it as a form of fair use. Now, most laws in most countries have not caught up to that. There's no reaction component or category for fair use in the law. So it's a long-winded answer, but it is okay to make reaction videos. They get views, they will do well, but it is more problematic. In other words, just because you made 10 videos and you did really well, and then years pass, doesn't mean that you're not going to get a copyright strike or a copyright claim later on down the line. The bottom line is you use content that didn't belong to you. And the question about whether you sufficiently transformed it is subjective, is up to the judge. So if you were saying, Ian, I want to start a channel today, I would advise you, okay, reaction videos will get views, but the safer route is to do all original content. So good example, Joe Rogan and his podcast. My goodness. I mean, everything's original and he's doing really well. It takes longer time. It may be longer because you're using your original content, just like a music band. Are you going to get more claps and a bigger audience if you do covers? Yes, because you're borrowing the popularity of songs that have already made it. But overall, on the long haul, if you have all your original music, will you, hopefully, if it's good, will you garner fans? Yes, it'll just take longer. So that's the answer to that. So it's not bad, just can be problematic. Let's see. All right. We have Dicky Discord's dailies. Caught you live, but I have to take a bath and it's already drawn. No, Dicky, no problem, Dicky. Thank you for even leaving a comment. That's awesome. All right, let's get back to tips for being a YouTube superstar. All right. So we talked about interesting topic. Number one, interesting, novel, infuriating, funny, inspirational. And then we talked about the conversational style. You could never go wrong with a conversational style. And we talked about giving context, giving the intent for the audience, what you want them to do, and then giving that headline. All right. Then we talked about knowing the rules. You would never play chess if you didn't know the rules. It'd be stupid, right? So we need to know the YouTube rules. We need to know your local government's rules. And this is the big one. Oh, I guess it didn't show up. Sorry. This is the big one here. And I'm putting it in a big rectangle here, consistent. when you begin this career, you have to commit to this, right? When you begin this endeavor, if you would like to get an audience and you would like to make an impact in society, you have to show up. And so if you say, I can do 2 videos a week, you got to do 2 videos a week. And I don't know that you necessarily need to publish them on the same days every week because it's changed now, but you need to do 2 videos a week. If you are doing lives like I'm doing them on Saturday at 8 a.m. I'm going to show up. There are going to be times, because I travel a lot, where I'm going to be in an airport, but I'm doing it. So that is one of the most important steps of being a YouTube superstar. And you see almost every successful YouTuber invariably follows this rule. There is just, the reason I'm pausing is I'm trying to think of anyone else. Almost all the most successful YouTubers show up consistently. So what does that tell you? You need to do the same thing if you want to be them, for sure. And then let's move on to commercial context. This is, I think this is my 6th step to becoming a YouTube superstar. And that is, you have to understand what the heck you're doing. What are you doing? Well, you're on a marketing platform. You're the product, right? So not only are you the product when you watch videos, but you're also the product when you make videos. A lot of us think, oh my gosh, Facebook is giving this free platform for us to create. Well, yes, but really not. You're filling up their coffers worth of content, and they want to put the best content out there so that they can make the most money on ads. All right. So we're not in a art studio somewhere. We're not in a classroom where we're learning how to be video creators or podcasters. We're in this commercial context. Okay. So if, I've talked about free speech in a lot of my videos, and I believe that free speech online is the best way to go forward with society. But I also understand the commercial context we're in, which is that these social media platforms are private sector businesses and have the right to have, pursuant to Section 230, some control over their content. And so we can't get too attached to our own content and say, I have a right to have my video out there. And I got to tell you, I'm saying this in a little bit of a tongue in cheek. There's self-censorship that you've got to do. We talked about it 2 lives ago. We talked about those community guidelines, and we talked about the pandemic community guidelines. And in those guidelines, YouTube says you can't talk about these things. It literally expressly says that. So what does that mean? If you want to continue on this platform, you got to follow the rules. If you want to enjoy a party in someone's backyard, you got to follow the rules of the house. Same is true with this. And I'm not advocating being passive, not asserting yourself for what you think is truthful, what you think would make a difference out there. I'm not doing that. But I just want to give you a reminder of where we're at. We're in someone's backyard, and they're allowing us to entertain, to give some knowledge to the people that are there. If we want to do it with our clothes off, and that's against the rules of the house, then we have to honor those rules. So just get some context. And that's why I think it's really an important step for becoming a superstar online is that a lot of people don't understand the context. They don't understand that you just can't do anything because these are companies. It's not a public sector. It's not a government utility yet. Maybe someday it will be. So if you understand that, then that's cool. And if you don't like the rules, you just don't do it. You do it somewhere else. And there's plenty of platforms that are cropping up these days where the rules are looser or allow more topics to be discussed. So just make sure, like today, if you were going to do, content that's against the mainstream, you probably shouldn't start on YouTube. I'm just saying, you probably should start on another platform that would allow you a little more freedom on what you could talk about. So again, 6th step, understand the commercial context of your communication. And then we have our final step today. And I know this is kind of a simple one, but it's one that I've had to learn over time. I've been a litigator for a long time, and I always believe in preparation and knowing the arguments on either side and getting ready for trial and those kinds of things. But oftentimes I forgot to relax, and I became too robotic, and I became too concerned with the technology that I'm using and things like that. But at the end of the day, the best tip I have for you is that when you're doing the videos, you're doing it in that conversational style, is just to sit back and relax. And you know what I do, and maybe you can use it too, is it's hard for me to relax in front of the camera. So a lot of times what I do is I just set my body in a way that is more relaxed. So I'm sitting on a soft couch right now with my back against the, the backrest, and I'm setting myself up for a relaxing time. Do the same thing for you. I mean, if you're talking about cool technology, or you're talking about superheroes or whatever kind of fun topics, maybe don't stand up and get yourself in this presentation mode. Maybe just sit on your couch. Maybe just sit on the floor, sit on your bed, whatever it is, but get into that relaxed type concept, because people are really going to appreciate it. People feel the vibe when you're not relaxed, and then that's very off-putting. So that's really, really important. And I will tell you this, that it doesn't happen overnight, getting relaxed. I'm not there yet. I think that even the best creators are not there yet. It's just a steady progression. You follow these 7 steps, including being consistent, including always thinking about interesting topics that give value to the audience, and then just setting yourself up for a relaxing time, you will get there. Gotta say though, it does take a lot of time, and it's not just a year. I mean, there's certainly exceptions, but for the most part, people take many years to mature as a good creator. It's a job you got to learn. So those are the steps that I have for you, and I think that if you follow them, you're going to be in good stead. Let's see. We got Sparky here. I just want to say hi to Ractactyl. Hey, Ian. Hey, Ian. Good to see you. Let's see here. Just Dude has a small tip. Don't commit to a specific channel name. Make the name a broad idea so you have the freedom to make different content in the future, unless you don't want to, of course. Just Dude, I think that's good. Although there's some power in someone's name. I remember way back when I was starting my YouTube channel, what was I going to call it? I could have called it Social Media Lawyer or something to that. I just said Ian Corzine. And I think oftentimes that's the best, because that's broad. That's the most broad, right? There's so many examples of creators. I'm thinking about Annie Dubé, who for a long time was a YouTube educator and one of the best. I mean, really, really great. And then I think about a month ago, she started creating content about more vlog style and changing her content. Well, thank God her channel name wasn't, the best YouTube teacher. It was Annie Dubé, so that it was easier for her to pivot. So if you are one of those people that envisions having multiple channels, like you have multiple interests, like you like guitar and you like tech, then maybe create 2 channels. Or if you're a person that wants to do different types of content, but still wants to have it on YouTube and other social media platforms, then think about having different channels for different types of content. Maybe you love doing YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or TikToks or whatever. So you have a separate channel, Ian Short, and then you have Ian Podcast, something like that, so that you have different avenues. But I don't think you could ever go wrong with naming your channel your actual name. Yes, people don't know what it means up front, but over time they will, and they'll just when people hear Ian Corzine, they go, "Oh, that's that lawyer guy." So I think that's the best advice there. All right, let's see. Oh, hello. Oh, I'm sorry. The comments are so hard to follow sometimes. Okay, so we're back to this. Oh, Just Dude has another question. I love Just Dude's question. Just Dude, I love you. Keep asking the questions or keep saying the comments. Just wondering, I never asked to like and subscribe because it seems like I'm telling people what to do. Is that a bad idea? You're going to get lots of answers from different people. I think the overall answer that's made the most sense to me has been don't ask for likes and subscribes, even though right now I'm going to take the moment. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do. That would really be helpful. That way we can move this live stream up the ladder. So if you can, give me a thumbs up. I think ultimately I would err on the side of not doing, hey, like and subscribe. And the reason for that is it's a mental break. It's almost like breaking the fourth wall, where someone's engaged in what you're saying in your content and loving what you're doing. And then also you say, by the way, just so you know, I'm here for views and subscribers. it can be a little off-putting. Now we've heard it so many millions and millions of times that it just kind of goes over our heads. But I think the best way to do it is just to say, I'm here for you. I want to give you a funny time. I want to give you a laugh. If you like it, you're going to figure out a way to continue to come back. All right. I think we all know how to like and how to subscribe. So I think that's the best answer. At the same time, because of the fact that we've heard it so many times for so many years, saying it at the end as a reminder, because sometimes people forget. They're like, okay, oh yeah, I really should subscribe to this channel, Just Dude's channel. So that's my answer on that. I try not to do it too much. Oh, look at this. I like this. Cobalt Fox Plays. I once got a retweet and a like from a music artist for following his attribution. I love that. That's so awesome. So what Cobalt Fox Plays is referring to is attribution. And that is telling the public that you're borrowing content and doing it in a way to cite it. So as far as my steps for using Creative Commons videos or using fair use in your videos, I always recommend that you attribute what you're using in the description section in the post for the social media platform. So if you're borrowing, a 2-second portion of a Drake song, you're putting in your description section, the name of the song, the artist, when it was, who was published by, the date of the publication, and then of course a thank you. And a lot of people say, well, Ian, is that good enough? Can I just cite? Can I just attribute and be able to qualify for fair use? And the answer is no. It just shows intent. And in this particular case, Cobalt Fox Plays, that's a perfect example of intent. This artist was honored that this person thought enough to attribute whatever the music or music in the video. And so as a result, tweeted him, say, oh, thank you, or whatever the context was of the tweet. So I do think attribution is huge. If you ever borrow content, do your best to attribute it in the description section. The only example or exception to that is if you're using licensed content, like royalty-free content, I don't think you need to cite to it because you have the license. But if you really are truly doing fair use, you're doing educational content on top of borrowed content, you're doing parodies, you're doing commentary, critique, it's good to do attribution in the description section or in the post that you're for whatever platform you're on. Oh, Shlomo Mueller, you're a champion. Thanks for your good work. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. We also got Dicky Discord. Evidently, he did not get in the bath because I have another comment from here. On that topic, it's a large part of why it gets blurred out in music, videos, movies, and so on. Okay. I don't exactly know. I'm trying to follow the commentary there. Blurred out. Maybe we're just talking about our brands, like trademark brands. A lot of times videos blur out. You have a Nike hat, they blur it out. Just to give you a tip, it's not necessary. The only time that it would be necessary to blur out is if you're casting negativity upon a brand, because at that point in time, they could take an issue. It could be a trademark infringement issue. But for the most part, trademarks are meant to be seen. So you can, especially if they're in the public, you don't really need to worry about that. Leo Sketches, can we still say subscribe to our videos? You still can. But we talked about it, I don't know that you need to. I think if people like the content, they're going to subscribe. Anna R, I hear YouTube has made it easy to take people's shorts to use any way you want and put a new checkbox in. You have to check each time you don't want your, yep, exactly, Anna R. That's the YouTube Shorts permission box. I made a video about it. You can watch it on my channel, Ian Corzine. Yeah, what YouTube has done is they want to have more shared content. They already have the right to license your content by the fact that you've produced videos. You've agreed to the terms of service automatically by using the service, by the YouTube. And they want it to be more like TikTok, where that you can pass the video, or sorry, you can pass the audio between your TikToks. So they want to do the same thing with YouTube Shorts. They want to have a press conference, maybe the president talking, and then someone borrows that audio and puts it in a YouTube Short. They want that shareable thing. If you don't want it, uncheck the box because there's a lot of creators that don't want it. I don't see, no creator has come to me with a problem with it yet. Matter of fact, most time they've come to me, they said, actually, it's been a value because their content gets to other people and then other people find them through short form content. So yes, that is true. We got Nico saying hello. Good to see you, Nico. Got a question from Generic. Some videos put disclaimers in the video itself. Is that important? Or is a disclaimer in the description enough? I see that all the time. I see like the the text on the screen. No, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, the only time I've seen it in a maybe more important is if there was a health situation, if you're giving health recommendations or health options, maybe you really want to instill in your viewers that this is not medical advice. I am not a licensed doctor, that kind of thing. But it's not necessary. So long as you put it in the description section, your disclaimer, so long as you put it in the post, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, so long as you say it if you're in a TikTok situation. I'm hoping you're not giving medical advice on TikTok. Maybe you are, but it is not necessary. It's sufficient. When courts are looking at a post about whether or not there's a violation of FTC law, a violation of your country's law, they look at a video with the text and the metadata as an entire post. It's a whole thing. It's not, they don't just take the video and look at that and say, hey, there was no disclaimer there. No, they look at the entire thing. So you can rest assured that if you ever got into, well, hopefully you'll never have litigation involving this, but if you get a situation where there was an issue with your post, you could certainly say, just so you know, we have an FTC disclaimer in the post itself at the bottom, in the description section. We don't need to say it audibly on the video itself. All right, All-Star Space. Please make me a superstar. Thank you, Ian, for all you do. All the best from Munich. Awesome. I love Munich. I visited there back in 2010, and I loved it. When I was a kid in high school, I studied German for 4 years. So I like how you have an LA hat too. That's awesome. That's cool. And your little, what is it called? Avatar. So yeah, awesome. Good to see you. All right. So as I'm still talking about deleting video, if I delete a video that already made money, will the video, okay, that seems like a repeat comment. So maybe, yeah, it keeps happening. So maybe we need to not do that one. All right, let's see. Okay, Todd D. This is my first time on your live stream. Well, thank you for joining us. My head it doesn't fit here. I have been interested in doing a video comparing two movies where I would use short clips from each movie to illustrate the comparison. Is this problematic? The answer to the question is yes. Obviously, if you have the permission to use the video, how do I do this? If you have permission to use the videos, it's not problematic, but most of us don't get the permission to compare two videos. So, or two movies. So it's really simple. I think that there's a lot of things you can do to do the comparison and make it engaging and become a YouTube superstar. And that is that you got to be creative. So you might be able to get a 2-second clip from each movie and just have 1 2-second clip from each movie in the video, so long as you're doing what we talk about as far as fair use, which is critiquing, doing commentary, talking about those clips and explaining the importance of them, giving your opinion about them, teaching about how those shots were filmed in the movie. That would be fine. But for the remainder of the content, just use typical B-roll content, which might be you getting images from a licensed site, like a royalty-free site. So if I'm just thinking about Star Wars now, you have a lightsaber 2-second scene, and then you have a licensed image of Darth Vader. You maybe commission someone on Upwork or Fiverr to do some illustrations, some fan art that you can throw into the video. You might be able to, there's lots of sites that have audio sound effects that are designed to mirror the original sound effects. Like if you go to, I think it's epidemicsound.com, I think they have lightsaber battles, and I don't believe those are taken from Star Wars itself. They're just emulated. So there's lots of different ways to engage your audience with, B-roll type content without using massive portions of stuff that you don't own. So again, if you're doing reaction, if you're doing comparison, you're borrowing content, just get creative and use any borrowed content very sparingly. A lot of times we think of borrowed content we don't think of, we use it as a crutch. We don't need to. You all you need to do is to elicit the image in your audience. So if you're talking about, I don't know what you're comparing, but if you're comparing, two different movies about that were directed by the same director or something like that, you can tell people what your opinions are, and you can evoke the images in their mind by using stuff that you have the rights to or that you created yourself. So just think about that. That's the best route to go. We got Jathos or Hathos. Hey, Ian, although I won't be a YouTuber, I want to say thank you for your content. It's very useful for others, and I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Hathos, or Jathos. I don't know how to pronounce it. Appreciate it. I'm happy, and I'm glad that you're taking that route. You've saved yourself a lot of heartache by not becoming a superstar on YouTube. We got Arrested in My Avenger. Love the content. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us and dropping by. Please drop by. We're going to be here every Saturday, not necessarily here, but every Saturday at 8 a.m. And we're doing this content. We're just having a morning conversation, kind of getting you ready for the week, trying to get you inspired to create content out there, because all of you, and I'm looking directly at you, have great ideas and great things that need to be surfaced to help us. It's just that you got to take that time to create that content. You got to make sure that you understand that what's interesting to you is not necessarily interesting to anyone else. So you got to get into the mind of the person you're speaking to. You got to speak in a conversational style. You have to understand the rules of what you're doing. It's not just there are no rules. There used to be back in 2008, but it's not that way anymore. And then, of course, you understand the commercial context, that this is a commercial business for these platforms. They're letting us get our ideas across for free, but at the same time, they're selling people with the ads. I was trying to make this stream not monetize. I couldn't figure out how to do that. YouTube right now is making money on this stream. So you have to understand that so they can control it. And then finally, everyone loves you for you, not for anything that you want to be, not being too bashful, not being too arrogant. They just want you for you. So just relax. Set yourself up in your content to be in a relaxed state so that the real you can come out and people can really engage. So those are the things that I have to recommend for sure. Okay, we got Leo Sketches. Todd D. Ian has recommended to use very little of these videos, only second, in order to avoid copyright. And also, if you add value to it, that could help a lot. Absolutely. So value is important, but to be more specific, critique, commentary, education, historical content, parody, using those type of concepts with borrowed content will qualify under probably your local government's law and also the YouTube copyright rules and community guidelines. Nico says, how are you today? I'm doing good. I'm excited. It's going to be a good weekend. We got Just Do with a small tip. Oh, that's an previous comment. Sorry about that. So Leo Sketches, if I change my country, should I just update it in YouTube, or is there something on the legal side to do? The only thing I would say, just update it on YouTube. The only thing I would say is just make sure you understand if you have a business entity like an LLC that owns your YouTube channel, that you make sure you change that. If you want to learn more about that, go to iancorzine.com. I have some blogs on using LLCs to own your YouTube channel. And the reason why you do that is to protect your assets. God forbid you get sued someday for defamation, copyright infringement, a violation of the right of publicity, and you don't want your house to be at stake. So that's why you set up an LLC. So I have some blog content. I have some videos I've made about why you need a YouTube LLC. Watch those on Ian Corzine, the YouTube channel, and frankly, I think on the IGTV too. And then if you ever need to speak to me directly about it, make sure you schedule a consult. We got Dickie Discourse Dailies. Maybe he's watching us from inside the bath, because he said he was drawing a bath and couldn't join us. For live streams, I recommend having a bot remind me to like and subscribe only late in the stream. No opinion outside that. Well, I think that's a great opinion. Awesome. Especially in live streams. I think that's true. The one issue on like and subscribe, I would say in live streams, it helps because people just forget. They're just watching or they're commenting. Or it's in the background and they forget. And listen, there's no dispute that getting more likes and obviously getting more subscriptions is beneficial for you to be able to get more exposure. There's no dispute. It does do that. The problem is the connection with your audience. And again, the goal in this whole process of being a YouTube superstar, being a LinkedIn superstar, is engagement. And you want to do as little as possible to break the engagement during the video. So one of the things that it does, if you say like and subscribe, or you're pawning a product, is that does break that fourth wall. And people go, whoa, oh, okay, yeah, that's true. This guy, I thought he was my good friend, and now we're talking about like and subscribe. We're talking about, I should buy these Ray-Ban glasses or something. So that's the thing to concern about. But by the way, if you guys haven't already, could you like this video? I love that. All right, 101 Hamilton. What if you discover that someone else has the same YouTube channel name, which happens all the time? It's so annoying. The point of it is you just got to figure out a new one that's distinct. I wish that there was some sort of rule that YouTube says you can't have the same channel name. I wish it was like a domain directory, like, for websites, but it's not the case. I see plenty of channels that try to emulate other channels, like I've talked about before, which is a violation of YouTube's community guidelines. There's Mr. Beast. I believe that his channel is MR no space BEAST, but there's also Mr. Beast with a period. There's Mr. Beast with a space, a period and a space. I wish there were rules against that, but I would just say, just try to create your own unique channel name. And then also always start or just buy the domain rights for your channel name in case you ever want to set up a website later on. It's getting increasingly clear to us that, YouTube, our times on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram may be coming to, a close. And so we're going to want to make sure that we have other avenues for people that want to get content from us. So you always, if you start a website or start a YouTube channel or an Instagram account, make sure that you buy the domain name for that account so that you always have that flexibility, right? A lot of us, like myself, use that to get more information out to people. Like Corzine.com has tons of blogs, has tons of videos, has podcasts, all those kinds of things. So you probably want to do the same thing. And that's one way to be able to kind of guard against this issue about the same channel name. I love this, a conversation about bots. Yes, we got some good discussion, and that's a really good one. I would love to talk more to Dickie about bots. Let's do that. Because I think those are good for live streams for sure. We got 101 Hamilton. Is it bad or a violation to have the same YouTube channel? Oh, no, it is not bad, and it is not a violation. It's allowed. Mr. Abroad, hi Ian, I'm glad to join live stream again. Question, could you please explain how does music video commentary works as fair use? Is it same as other videos? Thanks in advance. Music video commentary. So it looks like Mr. Abroad, or Abroad, I don't know exactly which one, how to pronounce it, would like to do commentary on music videos. And yes, it does work just like any other type of video content. I think in those situations, you're doing critique and commentary, and those are categories of fair use under most countries' fair use rules, and they are under YouTube's and the other social media platforms for that matter. So again, kind of like we talked about in the previous example, you got to get creative. I would use sparing, or I would use small clips from the music videos sparingly. I would make sure that I spoke before and after the clip, and sometimes during the clip. That actually is helpful sometimes. When you can mute the audio, sometimes you just want to show a particular portion. I'm thinking of like Michael Jackson's Thriller video. Maybe you just want to show his face in it when he's dancing or something. You don't really need the music, so just blank the audio. As we've talked about before, YouTube is most sensitive to audio. It reads it the quickest. So if you're going to get a copyright claim or a strike, that's where you're going to get it from. So if there's ways for you to delete audio for your clips you're borrowing, great. Or replace, like I've told you before, I replace audio a lot. You have a B-roll of some skidding car, and all you got to do is delete the original audio and then bring in royalty-free audio, screeching car from one of those sites, and then the audience will not know the difference, and you will not be violating copyright law. And best of all, most of the time, YouTube AI is not going to pick it up because the actual audio is licensed. So yeah, so short clips, and then be very creative. Do B-roll, do royalty-free images. Commission people on Fiverr or Upwork to do art that will support your analysis of these music videos. Get interviews, anything you can do. The more original content, the less, or the safer you are, the less ability you have to get, a DMCA takedown notice and a copyright strike. We got Crazy Tech. I love Crazy Tech. Hey, Ian, I retired the puppets. Now just a UFO podcast and scam busting. Well, I like that. There's a lot of people out there that talk about niche content and how it's so important to have the right niche on YouTube or any of the social media platforms. And I think ultimately it's right, but it's a choice for you. Plenty of us out there make the decision that we're not going to chase views and likes and subscribes. We just want to help. And I think for me, that's the best decision, because I really just want to help, and whatever happens, happens, you know? And I think that's the best thing. So a lot of you love varied content, have multiple different niches within your channel. And I think that's totally great. And I think that's acceptable. There's plenty of good examples of top creators that have different content. They'll do review stuff here, they'll do informational here, and that's just part of you tuning in for them. So good for you, Crazy Tech. That's awesome. And what I like about that is kind of mirrors what we talked about in some of the subject matter that we talked about today as far as being a YouTube superstar. And that comes to interesting, let's see if I can put this on, interesting in value. He says, I retired the puppets, now just UFO podcast. That's interesting, right? I mean, who's not interested about UFOs, about the fact that there could be life from other planets? So that would be novel. That would be something that would be maybe inspirational. That would maybe be a tutorial. You teach how you look at photographs and, you know, what certain things mean that you know, in the UFO context. So great example of our step number one for being a YouTube superstar. And that is do something interesting. Scam busting. Another example of something that's totally interesting. People love to have people get their due. And that could be what I contribute as, or I construe as angry or infuriating content. That could be tutorial content. That could be newsworthy content. That's all stuff that's interesting and that you're giving value. People are thinking, they're enjoying the content. All right. Oh boy, we have another issue on the, oh boy, Todd, I missed this. Shoot. So sorry. I got to give you your due here. Dickies. We wish I had a question, fastest path in forever. Dickie, thank you so much for the contribution. I love it's 333, one of my favorite types of or amounts of money. That's really awesome. Thank you. I'm going to put that to good use. I'm going to contribute it to one of my charities, and we're going to make sure that someone is benefited by that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then also we got Todd D, $2. Even attorneys need a tip from time to time. Well, Todd D, thank you so much for that. Again, I'm going to give it to someone who needs it. And I just so appreciate you taking the time to watch this live stream at 8 in the morning. I mean, my gosh, it's almost dark still outside. So thank you so much. And I also apologize for being late on that. I didn't see this. They're not popping up at the top. Okay. Sure. We got Esteban Neves, I believe is Neves. Hello, thanks for the content. I'll set up more because my head is on it. What mean commercial use? That can get YouTube ads, or in my description, use affiliate marketing link. So what's mean commercial use? I think that Esteban is referring to what we talked about as commercial context. And I'll put that on the screen again, right here. So what I mean by that is that we're not creating on an empty page. You know, if you're painting on a canvas, there's no commercial context. You're doing it for the love of creating. You may be doing it to give value to other people. You may give this painting to your mom as a birthday gift, or you may put it on a wall so that people can enjoy it. That's the value you're giving. But it's not in a commercial context. It was not created for the purpose of revenue. And the canvas itself is not being monetized, so to speak. Well, when we're on YouTube and we're on LinkedIn and we're on Facebook, we're in a commercial canvas. Someone else owns this canvas. So we're there to paint, but actually to make money for the person that owns the canvas. So if that's the case, we can only do what we do with the canvas according to the rules of the owner. So I think the reason I brought this up as the sixth step for 7 steps to being a YouTube superstar is people forget. They think that they're creating on a canvas that no one owns. And I got to tell you that it's not true. Someone else owns it. So a lot of times, don't get so angry when you get a copyright claim or maybe a community guidelines violation. Most of the time, well, maybe not most of the time, but a lot of the time, it's correct. There was a violation, and you violated a rule on a canvas owned by someone else. And so as a result, don't get too attached to the canvas. Understand that maybe you should have 8 different canvases. You should have a LinkedIn account. You should have an Instagram account. You should create for all those platforms, create for Rumble, whatever it is, Telegram. And that way you can better hedge if there's ever a problem on one of the platforms. But I think don't hate the person that's giving you a platform for free that they continue to have rights to own. And and understand that you signed away a lot of your rights when you joined the platform. Just telling you, that's what I mean by commercial context. All right. Let's see. All right, we got Dee Christensen. Hello, any recommendations for gamers on TY to be better? I think she means YouTube, I think. Better YouTube. Well, on TY. I'm blanking on what that means. Let me know, Dee, what that means. But gamers, be better YouTubers. I got recommendations. That is, before you start streaming a game, well, first of all, understand it has to be one of the games that's interesting to people. I would say that there's a lot of people out there who are pocket interested in some of the alt type games. So don't worry about I'm going to do a Fortnite channel. There's just a million of those, literally. So maybe you could focus on a smaller niche game, but it has to be a game that a lot of people play. And how you determine that is go onto Reddit, go on to Twitch, whatever it is, and just see how many people are actually consistently showing up for that content. So when you find that game that you think that you can make an impact on and you can entertain, give some value to them, then go straight to the video games streaming rules. And those can be found for most modern games on the web. And basically what you do is you go to the website or you go on Google and you type in, streaming rules, cyberpunk streaming rules. And that's going to take you to a page where they tell you what you can and cannot stream. Some video games, you can stream the whole thing. Other video games, you can stream most of it, but you can't stream these certain songs. So those are the rules. And it goes along with the rules of being a YouTube superstar. And that is, know the rules of the platform you're on. Know the rules of the content you're using. And that way you can stay on. So, and also you can do really well. You can get some great revenue there. We got Thomas Yee. Is there a way to pay a monthly annual fee to be able to use any and all copyright music? That would be badass. That would be awesome, Thomas. No, there is not a way. There are websites out there that license popular music. I did a video way back when. I'm blanking on the name of the Song Freedom. I think it's Song Freedom. I think it was. I don't think they exist anymore. But there are a few sites out there now that'll license popular music. You just search for them. But no, it's not like a radio license, when the radio plays music, or maybe a bar license that has music to license or license to music. As of yet, that's not the case. But I will tell you that you're in luck. A lot of the social media platforms are doing their best to get that popular music on their platforms, and they just pre-license it. So go to YouTube Shorts library. I mean, my goodness gracious, they have some of the most popular, current, up-to-date music you can use ever. Now, it's 15 seconds. So you got to figure out how to use it within 15 seconds. I've done a couple of YouTube shorts where what I do is I use the first 15 seconds, and then the remainder of the short I use royalty-free music. You can do that, or you can make videos that are 15 seconds long. But Instagram Reels, great music library, and then TikTok, the best. So these days, thankfully, since 2019 on, we've had access to a lot of popular music. So it's not an excuse for creators about, hey, I really wish I could use popular music. Yeah, you can't play the whole song, but you can certainly use key moments and not have a problem. So the answer is no, but there's lots of options. All right. Dickie talks about, I do searches like how to set up a bot for YouTube. He's telling everybody about bots. That's great. We will do that. And we got Andres Ekberg. He says, Studio Binder makes good videos about movies and they seem to do it right. Awesome. Another great tip, which is go to channels that are doing it right and see what they're doing to keep themselves on the air. I will say, there's a warning. There is a separation between the super mega popular channels and us, normal creators. A lot of times they have licensing rights we don't know. A lot of times, I gotta say it in tongue in cheek, YouTube makes a lot of money off them, so they're a little bit looser as far as what they use. But that's a good channel. In general, see what other people are doing to make it work. Mr. Mind Works. Good morning, Dr. Law. Dr. Law would have been a good channel name. I like that. Crazy Chicken Man. Hello, Ian. Good to see you. It's very early where you're at now. 6:15. What are you doing on the air? Oh, Crazy Chicken Man. I have a question. What do you recommend I do if you want to make Minecraft videos, but my PC is way too slow and it's really annoying me? Do you have any suggestions to be more relaxed other than get a new PC? Yes, you should have a benefactor get you a new PC, and that way you don't have that same problem. Thank you, Crazy Chicken Man. Carrie Rea. First, I've heard of a YouTube LLC. Thank you for mentioning it. Well, I want to be clear. When I say YouTube LLC, there is not a technical, a government sanction for a YouTube LLC. I just call it a YouTube LLC because it's a creation of whatever your government's corporate entity is. In America, we have LLCs and corporations. I recommend LLCs. They're much more malleable and easy to use, especially single member LLCs. But in Canada, I don't believe they have LLCs. I think they only have corporations. So there's definitely rule variances. But creating a business entity, a corporation, an LLC, a partnership, whatever it is, to own your YouTube channel is very good advice. That way, if there's ever a problem down the line, you can protect your personal assets from being liable. So really good. And also insurance. That's very good too. Kim Leeming says, is it okay to have multiple YouTube channels under one LLC parent company? And the answer is yes. I know many creators have multiple channels under one. It just depends on the assets we're talking about and the liabilities. So as your channel or your brand grows, you may want to have separate LLCs per liability. So what does that mean? I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking about Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm thinking about Mark Maron's podcast. They have so many different types of content, which they could get in trouble with, that I believe they probably create a business entity per content. So they might have a podcast content. They might have a might have a podcast LLC. They might have a video LLC. They might have a public relations LLC. They might even have a book LLC for their books. So as you get bigger and there are more and more liabilities, creating more and more business entities is valuable because you want to protect yourself in a supreme way. Now that's nice, Leo. Thank you for telling me I'm hilarious. That was funny. That made me happy. Let's see here. Generic. Is there ever a need for having a business license for your YouTube channel? Not for your YouTube channel. The only time it comes into play is if you are doing business at home and your local city or county or whatever municipality you're in requires business licenses for home work. That's when it would be required, but not for YouTube specifically. All right, let's see. I got a couple more minutes. Let's see. Oh, in the comments here. Okay. Andrew Godson, good to see you. Hi, how are you? All right. Okay, we have Purple Magnolia. What is the difference? I think she means difference between fair use and copyright. Well, the difference is that they're within the same legal subject. Copyright is the ownership in the intellectual property of your creations, and fair use is the ability to use other people's copyrighted creations in your own artwork without their permission. So you can get more details on copyright and fair use by going to the videos on my channel, Ian Corzine. There must be over 20 videos on the concept. Just scroll down, type in fair use, Ian Corzine or whatever, and you'll be able to pick that up. But that way you'll understand the difference. So yeah, when I'm creating this live stream, I am creating copyrighted content, even though I haven't registered it with my local government. It's just because it's tangible form, it's video, it's on my computer, it's on YouTube right now, it's tangible and can be owned. And so I do own it automatically. Now, if someone wants to take a clip from this live stream and without my permission, it's allowed under YouTube's rules and also under most local government's rules. You just have to do it in the right way. And if you don't do it in the right way, use fair use principles, then you could get in trouble and what's called a DMCA takedown notice can be filed, and you could lose your video and you can lose your channel. And that's the reason why I'm here, is to help you guys understand those rules so you don't lose your channel, so that you can grow your channel, grow your business, and make a lot of money and be happy in your life. So anyway, guys, I wanted to let you guys know that we are live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us with more and more questions. I really appreciate it. Videos coming out on Tuesdays, sometimes on Thursdays, and maybe Saturdays. So that's coming out. If you ever have a need for legal documents, let's say you get a brand deal, let's say you become a YouTube superstar and you need legal documents, just go to iancorzine.com. I have a whole legal template library. So we got brand deals there. We got official giveaway rules there. We got deals with, or agreements or contracts with the people that on your team, videographers, video editors. So iancorzine.com for that, excuse me. And then, of course, if you ever need to schedule an online consult with me personally, you can go to iancorzine.com and schedule that consult button in the top right-hand corner and spend some time with me personally. So thank you so much again today for joining us. It's been, or joining me. It's been really, really wonderful. I've had a good time, and I will see you next Saturday.